Hi everybody, welcome to our Facebook Finance Live. My name is Majella. I'm a director in our finance team based here at Facebook Dublin. Today I'm chatting with some people on the finance team about what it's really like to work here at Facebook Finance. We're going to talk about growth in the team, some of the challenges and opportunities, and why working in this team is such a unique experience. Now, I want to make this very interactive, so please do jump on the live and start posting questions and comments. I can see them all here on my screen and I'll get to as many as possible. Okay, in the meantime, we're going to jump right in and dive in with some intros.
Hi, my name is Singhi. I'm working as an international revenue accountant. It's been about 5 months that I'm working with Facebook, but I'm happy to share my perspective as new employee today.
Great, thank you. Adam.
My name's Adam O'Reilly, working as an accounting manager in infrastructure accounting team. I've been in Facebook for 6.5 years. My team is focused on supporting our infrastructure, which is our data center, our network and our connectivity business.
Thanks, Adam. Tracy.
Hi, I'm Tracy Coffey. I'm a manager on the GL accounting team. I've been with Facebook for almost 3 years, and while Adam's team supports the data centres and the infrastructure, our team support all the sales offices in EMEA, and we have similar teams in APAC and LATAM who do the same function for those regions. And I guess our main focus is making sure that we're compliant in each of those countries that we operate in.
Great, thank you. Annette.
Yes, so my name is Annette Nordstrand. I'm the collections manager for EMEA. I've been in Facebook for 4 years now. I work as part of a global team. We have credit and collections managers in Latin America, in Asia and in North America as well. So I work very, very closely with them and as part of a global team, driving the collections efforts and just trying to optimize our processes and making sure that our customers are happy and paying us.
Great, that's all good. Adam, I'm going to start with you. You've been here the longest, 6.5 years. So in that time, you've seen an incredible amount of change. Can you tell us a little bit about the change and the degree of impact it's had on you and your team?
Yeah, I think like a lot has changed over the last 6.5 years. I mean, when I started, we had a single greenfield site that we wanted to turn into a data center, and not much else really beyond that internationally. And I think the one thing I would say over the 6.5 years is my role has changed a lot. It changes all the time and it continues to change. It very much follows what the business are interested in investing in next. So over the years, I've been involved in data center construction build-outs, and then later, when we were building out our network infrastructure, our submarine fibre became a big part of my role. So, you know, we invest heavily in Trans-Pacific, Transatlantic, and Indian Ocean fibre to, I suppose, connect our data centres to the end users. And I suppose I've been involved in growing out that portfolio over the 6.5 years. So. We still have a lot of scale challenges. You know, we're heavily focused on trying to make the processes as streamlined and easy as possible. But the business is growing really fast, and so we constantly are looking to improve things, and that's continuing all the time.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. It used to be a team of you, so it's good to see you now have some help. Tracy, kind of the same question to you. Since you've joined Facebook, we've grown so rapidly.
Yeah.
We have opened up offices in new countries, acquired lots of companies. Can you talk about the change you've seen and how you've the role you've played a part of in that?
Sure, and so I think in our Q3 results we announced that our headcount had grown 45% year on year, and obviously a lot of that is international headcount growth. So I guess the main impacts for our team would be, with that growth comes the requirement for bigger facilities. With the headcount growth and revenue growth, we'd have a lot more audits happening. So we currently have over 100 entities internationally, so there would have been a big increase in the number of audits that we're doing and the compliance requirements in each of those countries in that time.
Okay, that's great. I'm going to change it up a bit. Singhi, you're 5 months in the company, so you're still pretty new. Tell us about life as a new hire at Facebook Finance.
The 5 months really flight, and Facebook culture is definitely different from what the company that I worked in before. And one of the things that really surprised me is this feedback culture in Facebook, that it started even before I joined the Facebook. after the interview, I got this questionnaire questioning about my interview experience, and it was surprising to see that Facebook is caring about the people's opinion who is not even belong to the organization, and it sent me the signal that Facebook cares about feedback seriously. And so far, what I'm experiencing this power of feedback every day. I've had this training, and then I've been receiving the materials to give me the framework to how to speak up and how to provide constructive feedback, and also get resilient from the feedback that I received. I do think that this contributed Facebook's rapid success, and also this definitely differentiated from the culture that I worked in before.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
we're delighted to have you here, so welcome to the company, so that's great. Annette, could you tell me a little bit about what does your typical day look like, or a typical week look like at Facebook?
Yeah, I get this question when I'm interviewing people quite often, and
Yeah.
it's actually quite difficult to, because I almost want to say that no day is the same as the next. But I suppose you know, from a credit and collections point of view, we've outsourced the majority of our day-to-day operations. So it kind of frees up time for me and my colleagues to travel in market, meet the customers. Like I said, I'm responsible for EMEA, so you know, across Europe, Middle East, and Africa, there's obviously lots of diversity. There's loads of different cultures, different jurisdictions, tax legislations, and so on. So we really want to go out and visit the customers, listen to their feedback, understand what their pain points are when it comes to reconciling the invoices from Facebook, and what's kind of preventing them from making payment in time, and so on. So really partnering with our customers and our local sales team, as well as our sales team here in Dublin, of course. And I suppose really understand the different cultures, the diversity, and understand their pain points, so that we can hopefully fix that for them, and just allow them a smoother process and a quicker payment to Facebook, I suppose.
That's great. I'm going to ask Tracy maybe the next one. So Tracy, you're part of a fairly traditional finance function, but a lot of non-traditional ways of working, and I know you're very passionate about technology and automation.
Yeah.
Can you maybe talk about some of the automation efforts you've been involved in, or that are currently ongoing?
Sure. So I think across the entire finance team, we continuously have a lot of automation efforts, and I guess we're doing that with a view to having our employees work on the work that they want to be doing, the less administrative work. So one of the projects that we are currently working on is payroll automation. So we outsource all our payroll to local providers, so they'll provide the payroll team with a gross to net report. That goes into a UI, and then we've pre-mapped all the gross to net columns so that it knows what account in Oracle that it will map to. So we're estimating that will probably save us about 100 hours a month through that automation, because it'll be less effort for the payroll team, and also to our outsourced support team who we have in Warsaw, who would post the journals for us. Another project I worked on was the compliance packs. So that was, I guess, that's a huge part of what our team do. And again, our outsourced team are spending a huge amount of time running reports for compliance. So we did a deep dive into the repetitive questions we were getting from auditors to see what exactly are they looking for. And working closely with our BizApps team, we were able to come up with 8 packs, which provides 85–90% of the information that our auditors require to do their work. at the click of a button, really. So that's all automated. So again, huge time savings, and we got really good feedback from the auditors that it was better quality information that they were receiving, so less, less queries after the fact or during the audit process, which was great.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I love about working at Facebook Finance is the fact that at Facebook everybody has access to the IT finance team, so everybody is empowered to drive forward big automation efforts. The credit and collections team have recently launched a machine learning program, which is fundamentally changed a lot of our operations. So I think that that's something kind of unique that each of us have the luxury of working with, which is great. While we're on the topic of interviewing, Adam, do you have any top tips for people who might be interviewing at Facebook?
Yeah, I'd say for anyone interested, definitely find out as much information as you can about the role or the team that you're interviewing with. Gather as much as you can, and don't be afraid to ask questions during the interview process. That is the big thing. I think you should use it as an opportunity to find out, is this the right role for me? Is this something that I really want to do? Is this something I'm passionate about? Because everyone in Facebook is passionate about their role, and you have to be. So I think that'd be some of my tips anyway. Yeah.
Great. And the environment, Sung-hee, you said it was different to where you worked before. Can you talk a little bit more about the work environment for the revenue accounting team? So the revenue accounting team are supporting our business across the Blue platform, across Instagram, and now WhatsApp, Workplace, Oculus.
So our revenue team, Ireland revenue team, is responsible for the revenue outside of US and Canada. Considering our Q3 revenue was 13.7 billion, the significant of amount of revenue was built outside of built from Ireland, and we have about 10 people in our team, and the number of transactions, high volume of transactions, and across this multiple product lines, I think it is quite impressive that small number of people is managing this the vast revenue. And currently we are moving towards this local
selling.
Local selling structure, which means that the revenue that was advertising revenue generated from supported by the local sales team will be booked in that local country. That requires the challenge for all of us that we should get ready for the system changes, and then we need to ready for the country specific requirements, and it is exciting for me to have more exposure in international requirements. Also, that we need to think about saving the times, how to we need to think about the time, how to resolve the issues, and reviewing all the multiple ledgers. It is challenging, but it is exciting working with the cross-functional teams.
Great, that's great. Thank you. Adam, you work across people in the US, in multiple sites in the US, across Latin America, across Singapore, who are supporting pretty much the whole world and projects all over the world. How do you do that? Like, what is your communication mechanism? Like, how do you learn about what's important in India or Latin America or the US?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the key thing is to build up really solid relationships. So, finance roles in Facebook aren't, you're not behind a spreadsheet all day, so you kind of need to get out and meet the teams. And there's multiple ways of doing that. Obviously in person is great where you can get that. But we do a lot of video conferencing. We do a lot of a lot of global collaboration meetings that we would work on. The one thing that really surprised me when I joined Facebook was how open the business were with finance. I think it's a real partnership. I think that exists across all the functions. And I think that really enables you to kind of find out exactly what you need to do in whatever challenge that you come across. So yeah, I think that openness really helps. Communication back and forth is really strong. So that makes it a little bit easier, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. There's a question here on the live, actually. The question is, do you use software as a service for your analytics? Maybe I can answer that one. So we have a suite of data scientists and data engineers who work with the finance team on a lot of our analytics work that we do. We have got some self-serve reporting built in Tableau and a bunch of analytics tools that sits on top of that. I'm not sure what technology we're using. I just know that it works really well. So I'll take that. Okay, Annette, if somebody was looking for some advice on how to move forward and get a job at Facebook Finance, what advice would you give them? Where would they start? And maybe any advice you've got?
Yeah, I think Adam touched on some of the points already, just in terms of, I suppose, read up on the role, try to understand the role, ask the recruiter questions, think about what you're passionate about, because like back to Adam's point as well, I don't think you can work here without really being passionate about what you do, but I also think thinking about the mission of the company, like we're here to bring people together, we're here to we really are here to connect the world. Yeah, so if you want to be part of this really cool mission, then definitely have a look at I suppose at the website. I think all roles are posted externally, but also don't be afraid of asking questions. Ask the recruiter questions to really try to. It's quite a unique environment here, so I do think that it would help to maybe have a chat to, if you know somebody who works in Facebook, and then have a think about what you're really interested in and what you want to do. But I think certainly from a credit and collections point of view, and I think it's the same across finance, the roles here are they're unique and they're fairly specialized, and I think we certainly have an advantage in the sense that we are outsourcing a lot of our day-to-day operations, which perhaps in a more traditional role would have taken up a lot of your time, but here you really have the chance to do what you love and kind of just focus on the bigger picture and be part of this really cool mission.
Can I just add to that as well? So I think something I really enjoy about working on the team is that we're really encouraged to focus on your strengths, whereas I think that kind of sets us apart from other companies where, you spend 5 minutes of your performance review looking at your strengths and then the rest of the time on your, areas of improvement. Whereas I think in Facebook, you're really encouraged to focus on your strengths and not even the things you're good at, but the things you really enjoy doing and what energizes you. So I think that would be my advice to, really think about, what it is that you enjoy doing, what your strengths are, and then come to Facebook and say, this is what I'm good at and this is where I can add value.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with that any more than I do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And perhaps as well, just do a bit of reading about Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg as well, because they really are, our leaders, and I think we all feel that we're quite close to them. They have a weekly, or Mark has a weekly Q&A every week. He gets up in front of the whole company, and anybody can send in their questions, email in their questions, or get up and just ask a question there on the spot, which I think is very unique, and I think we're very privileged. So and they're also very kind of open about the mission and what we're trying to do. So I think that would be some good advice as well.
That's great advice, really great advice, and thanks Tracy as well. Tracy, you're a working mum here, and as am I. can you talk about what are your favourite perks that you have at Facebook, or some of your favourite perks?
Yeah.
'Cause you're a lady who takes care of exercise and all of those things as well. So.
Yeah, I think the benefits team here are really good at thinking about, like, not just what working mums need, but what everybody who kind of works here needs on a personal level. So I think for me, what makes it easy to work here, and like that, I'm not the only working mum out there. Like, it's more and more.
Well.
Yeah, so like more and more, two people have to work, I guess, to kind of survive. It's very different to how it was probably however many years ago. But I think what makes it great for me, some of the things, like, they just sound so simple, but probably less so now because my daughter's in school, but previous they might come to work with me, have breakfast, and then their mind will take them away, and then they really enjoy that. It gives you a bit of time to have time together. I always make it home for bedtime, so I'll leave, and if I need to, I have access to log on later in the evening if on the occasion where you need to, but there's always that flexibility to be at school plays or to be at the important things that you don't want to miss as well, and just kind of manage your own time. Nobody's clock watching you or saying, where are you this morning? And we do have a good perk as well where you have finance can work from home 2 days a month as well, which is fantastic, I think, as well, because it means you're not spending that time travelling to and from work. But like that, I think there is always that pull to the office as well for good food and so it's kind of getting that balance, and so no, it's great.
Okay.
Yeah, and just to add to that, right, I'm a recent dad, so very passionate on this topic. So I mean, the parental leave was just such a great benefit for me. I think.
How much time did you take?
So 4 months in total over the course of my son's first year, and it really helped us kind of like simple things. My wife going back to work made that a lot easier. The initial crazy phase that made that a lot easier as well. But back to Tracy's point, I mean, I do a lot of drop-offs and pick-ups, so I 3 days a week. And just the simple flexibility around that, the understanding that you get from everyone around that is probably my favourite perk, outside of the parental leave. But just being able to do that, do the bedtimes and do the pickups.
Yeah, I think one of the things as well from your leave that I would have seen is the rest of the team step up and gain new experiences as well. So when one person is out on maternity or paternity leave, it gives opportunity to a whole bunch of other people to step up and play a bigger part.
Definitely creates opportunities everywhere. Yeah.
So I have another question here on the live, and it's around data visualization. So the question is, does everyone in the finance team have visualization skill sets, and if not, is there a place for them to upgrade? I can take that as well because it's also close to my heart. So we have one expert on the team in Dublin, and then we work with the finance IT team, who's an expert on visualization. So he is introducing us to the opportunities of telling a story a little bit differently with data visualization. I would say we're probably early enough in terms of our journey along that path, but it's really interesting actually when you see in a picture format what the numbers are telling you. So the other thing I would say is that there is a ton of support for anyone interested in this or any other topic. So we have specialist groups that work on visualization, and there's training and an opportunity for anyone who's interested in finding out more to develop those skills. Okay. So can you give me, Tracy, some of the good advice you've got since you've joined here? Any good advice you've got?
Good advice that I've got since I work here. I think Sung-Hee kind of touched on it earlier. I think the openness of the company is one thing that I've really learned. Like, I guess it's quite easy to bury your head in the sand in lots of situations. But like that, I think everyone benefits by being open and being honest and giving feedback and being able to receive feedback. Like, quite often it's easier to give than to receive. So I think that's one piece of something that I feel like I've grown in a lot in my 3 years here. And then I think as well, probably learning to be agile. So some days you might come to work and think, okay, this is what I'm going to achieve today, and then none of that happens, you know. So being flexible and being able to adjust and to just go with that as well, and that's okay. You know, tomorrow will be a new day and different things will happen, because it is quite a fast pace and things do crop up that unexpectedly and stuff. So yeah, I think being agile and being open.
Yeah, I think to add to that, I guess one of the things that I find kind of unique about Facebook is the 360 type of feedback that we have. So it's very much encouraged for people through our pulse surveys or manager feedback or other channels to give feedback on their managers and their leaders and things like that. And that's it's kind of unique in that sense that there's kind of 360 feedback happening a lot, which is always good. Okay. Adam, could you tell me a little bit about the growth of the finance team outside of Dublin? So we've grown here in Dublin, but we've been growing right across the world, particularly in the US. And maybe you could just talk a little bit about where those teams have been standing up and growing heavily.
So we've been growing teams all around the world. I think we've obviously got folks in HQ in Menlo Park in California, and then we have a finance team which we've stood up in Austin in Texas. Working on P2P and R2R, and there's team members from my team there too, and then more globally, then we've obviously got the site here in Dublin. We've got people in Sao Paulo, Hyderabad, Singapore, and for my team especially, we're kind of regionalising a little bit right now. So I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to, I suppose, support the business where the activity is happening, right, and trying to gain, gain the in-market kind of view of things and risk, to understand, can we make our processes more robust for the local markets? So for us, I guess, we're hiring right now in Singapore, where we've just announced that we're building a large data center. And I think the reason why we want to stand up a team there is obviously to support that business, because we've got sourcing managers, we've got people on the infrastructure side that we want to help support. So definitely follows that philosophy. We will build teams where it makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. I mean, the investment has just been really considerable, both in California, in Texas, and internationally as well. It's been huge. Annette, can you talk a little bit about what it is that gets you excited about going to work in the morning, aside from the fact that you get to work with all of us every day? What is it that excites you about getting up and coming to work?
Well, I was going to say, actually, I am really excited and grateful for working with a lot of smart people, not just you guys, but it's a lot of smart people. I'm always amazed at how people from various, teams across the business come together to, resolve an issue, whether it's, putting out a fire or trying to fix a more of a long-term challenge. So for me, it's very much the collaboration and the partnering with, whether it's our customers or our sales team or other cross-functional teams across the business to solve an issue or to fix, to finish off a project, or anything else that we kind of. I think it's very much a team effort, and that's something that really excites me. I also think we have a great IT team, great engineers that can, support and build really cool solutions for us and our customers, and that's really exciting as well. I'm probably forgetting lots of stuff now, but that's kind of top of mind. Yeah.
Okay, that's fabulous. I guess one of the questions that somebody had sent in was describe a typical day at the office. I think it's really interesting because at Facebook there is no typical day at the office. This morning Annette and I started with a call with one of the CFOs of one of the largest agencies in the world to work through some questions with them, and then we move on to interviews. Then we're having this Facebook Live, and we've meetings on several other topics this afternoon that are global in nature as well. Every day is very much a different kind of day. day, and I think there's very few days where you sit behind your spreadsheet and actually look at and look at your laptop. Mostly it's working in collaboration with other people as well, which is awesome. So Adam, you're doing some really interesting things down in Latin America as well, and Latin America is a notoriously complicated place to work. Could you tell us about what's going on down there and how you're getting your head around it?
Yeah, I suppose first of all, I mean, we've got a huge amount of users in LATAM. You know, Brazil's one of our biggest markets, and I suppose we want to, you know, provide the best kind of performance of the service that we can. So we're investing heavily in our network infrastructure in LATAM. You know, we're active in a number of countries across the region. And what we've done recently is, you know, we have a team member down in LATAM now to kind of help us support the local obligations and the filings and also the transactions to get close to those in region. I think, you know, it kind of follows the model that we've done in a lot of the other regions where, you know, we go in, we identify where we want to go to. We work very cross-functionally with all of our with our support, like tax and legal, and you know, when we identify a site, when we identify a country we want to get into, and then we make sure that, you know, we're fully compliant in each of these areas. So, yeah, it's a challenge definitely, but makes life really interesting, I think, you know.
I think we're lucky as well to have such a fabulous team of people down in Brazil and São Paulo. They're the singing accountants of the company, anyway, which is great. Annette, can you maybe talk a little bit about some of the things we're seeing on the international space in our credit and collections world? I guess we're seeing a huge amount of growth in some of our faraway markets. Particularly in Asia, it's been a really fast-growing part of our business, and how we're working globally together.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, APAC is, you know, or Asia has a lot of, you know, emerging countries, and the growth rate is really, you know, impressive and really significant. So I suppose that comes with some challenges, but we obviously want to, you know, support the business, and we want to support the user base and the local companies where, you know, where at all possible. So what we're doing, I suppose, on the credit side is that we're scaling using machine learning that you touched on earlier, to, you know, be able to make more automated credit decisions and to be able to turn around credit applications much quicker and get kind of customers or agencies up and, you know, advertising quicker. And then on the collection side of things, we are also looking at you know, exploring how we could use bots and AI, you know, to kind of be more efficient, at least in the early stages of our collections activity. Working very closely with tax on the, you know, ever-changing tax landscape, which is also, you know, can be quite challenging for our customers. And I suppose just, you know, try and really optimize our processes and work on scaling and automating as much as we possibly can, because the growth rate is so significant, and we obviously want to try and, you know, solve for that more through automations than through, you know, adding people or adding headcount if we can.
Okay, that's awesome. Sorry, I'm just looking at there's some more questions coming in over live on interviewing top tips. So I think Sung-Hee, you've already shared some. Anything else that you would advise a new person to do in order to be successful quickly at Facebook?
At interview level?
Either at interview or after they start.
Well, to begin with, I think Facebook love to hear your stories. So I think the genuine answer or the standard answer doesn't really apply here. So the unique, your story would be welcome. Yeah. And working in Facebook, at orientation, they were highlighting to bring your authentic yourself, and I didn't really understand it from the beginning, but but while I'm working here, it like this unique environment you have, and a lot of time the workplace doesn't feel like workplace, that we have amazing offices and each meeting rooms are all differently decorated, and we talk in a cozy place, and you unguard yourself, and you definitely bring yourself a bit, and I think it helped me in a sense that I feel more comfortable and be honest, and I hope it actually helps the business and my colleague as well, that when you're be yourself, you are more like comfortable and creative in some sense, and be your best what you're doing. So I would say for the best advice is be yourself and bring yourself to work. And
great. Okay, so this is literally the last question. We're running out of time here. So Adam, your top tip for interviewing, your top one thing that you would ask. I'm going to ask everybody.
Can I get two?
You can have two.
Okay.
Value add.
Yeah. Be open to the opportunity, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, that we have, although they sound like specialised roles, you know, you get a lot of exposure to lots of different areas on Facebook.
Yeah.
And be prepared. I think that's just a simple tip. You know, just you know, do your homework, and that will stand you.
And be prepared. Great. Tracy.
I think when I'm interviewing at Facebook, you're kind of looking for strategic thinkers and people who can, you know, problem solve, and I guess we're not always solving today, you know, not today's problems.
Yeah.
Like, we're kind of looking for people to fill roles that don't even exist as well, and that's the great thing about the growth at the moment, that they'll be there. So I think if you can be a strategic thinker, that would be what I'd be looking for as well in an interview process. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think in credit and collections, we're looking for a lot of things, but I think you know, one of the most kind of usual questions or common question that we ask is, you know, tell me about your most impactful project that you worked on.
Yeah.
So we do work on a lot of projects.
Okay. Okay, that's great. I think for me as well, I think you probably shared to be your authentic self. So I want to know the person's story, and I want to know what drives them, so that I understand how they're going to fit into the team as well. So them being authentic and actually just sharing what really drives them is important. So I think that's about all we've got time for. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today, and we're really excited to be able to share a little bit about what it's like to work on this fabulous team. We're always hiring, we're always recruiting, so keep an eye out on our recruitment page, and get in touch if you're interested in any of the opportunities. Thank you.